because we did speak to her before I break this part. We did speak to her about the fact that a lot of black nerds like us, we have already accepted and adopted her as the one and only Storm. Like we like from the time we saw her as Bilquis, we've always kind of like just had that, like she fits it so perfectly. She actually is African. You know, she comes from Nigeria. She has the look, she has the voice, she has the accent, she has the physique. She's got she just embodies Storm, at least from where I stood. Now, it's been years since we made that proclamation, but I say she could still pull it off. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like, you know, me and you have wrestled with ageism a little bit to an extent, but I don't think that this affects her at all. Like I still think that tomorrow, like you pull her up, like she could still be just as Storm as she was years ago. Am I alone in feeling that way, fellas?
Oh, 100% agree with you. Like,
Yeah.
that's why it's important for everybody to go watch this video, because one of the things that you'll find with Yetide is when Yetide starts speaking, it's something in her voice that draws you in. It literally feels like you're being sacrificed without giving your but I'm serious. Like throughout that interview, like and Vince, you know, like I kept speaking to it because she has one of those voices that if you are a person who doesn't want to read books but you want somebody to read it to you, like her voice would be the absolute perfect voice to read to you. Like and she talks about it in the interview, coming from a family of storytellers and how, you know, as a young young lady, that would be the time in their family where everybody would kind of gravitate to, is when the stories started happening, and you can just see it, you can feel it, and 100% with you, Vince. Even right now, she is the best candidate for Storm when it comes to the regality that she would give that character. When it comes to just like her speaking, her any monologues that she would have to do on camera, it's different. It's different. She's different. She's different, yo.
Yeah. So I full wholeheartedly continue to support that. Even though they probably would go a little younger nowadays, I would definitely not be one to complain if they did still use Yetide. And also, there's so many different verses, multiverse, universe, this, that, the third. She could be a version of Storm or the main Storm. I'd prefer her as the main, but I just want her included. That's all I'm saying. But just to kind of cap off the Star Trek portion of the conversation, as you did get her to admit that her first was Captain Picard, who was abused by the Borg on multiple occasions, who abandoned his child, who never did bring him onto the ship, who actually lost one of his children, who the mother of his child was so ashamed or so afraid of having Picard have him as a father that she kept him secret throughout the entirety of his life and didn't introduce him until he was actually in his upper adolescence. But I divest.